give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo 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 besimcha. Be the reason someone smiles. 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 Siva gedola, liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo besimcha. Someone smile. Be the reason someone smile. Be the reason someone smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Be the reason someone smiles. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo besimcha. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smile. Give a smile, give a smile, give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Siva, gedola, leo, leo, simba. Siva, gedola.
Breakfast with Elli.
מודה אני לפניך מלך חי וקיים שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך
I'm on the way to a discreet location. A very interesting event is taking place. I don't know if you know, but today is PESACH Sheini. I didn't know either. I was invited to a very interesting event that's taking place right now by the Tanzas for 5 families that couldn't make it, that were in the hospital for Pesach. They're celebrating a regular Seder Nacht PESACH Sheini. I don't know what to expect. Let's see what we got. It's nicht normal. My gosh.
We got Pesach Sheini. Do you know what Pesach Sheini is? And especially with the Heilige Tanzes, that they turn.
I did not expect this at all. I am moved. I would say to tears. I don't know if you can understand. It's beyond, much beyond. They told me on the side that I wouldn't even imagine for 1 second what these families have been through and how they mamish didn't have a Pesach. And this was their chance, and in full glory, and with singing and dancing, and it was a lot. The dancers are doing much more than just dancing. They actually become family members of these Cholei Yisrael that go through hardships.
השם יתברך, תמיד אוהב אותי ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב. והשם יתברך, תמיד אוהב אותי ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב. ויהיה לי עוד יותר טוב, ועוד 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 יותר טוב, ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב, רק טוב.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast with Elli. It is Monday, the 12th day of May, the 14th day of Iyar. It is Pesach Sheini, as you can see, the second Pesach. Second Pesach? Wait, do I have to have a Seder tonight or last night? What did I do? No, you don't. We'll talk about it. Calm down. Everything's okay. The Torah portion is Emor, HaYom, Yom, Sheini, Shabbos, the second day. Counting up toward Shabbos, we'll be learning the second Aliyah. It is the 29th day of the Omer. 29th day of the Omer. Yes, relax. We're all okay. Everything is fine. Pesach Sheini, don't fret. We're going to talk about it. First, let's do our davening, and then we'll go into details on what's going on today. All right? All right. Men and boys, take you two front sitters. Let's make a bracha. Everyone else join us in the second bracha. Ready? Here we go. Oh, come on.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mitzvat tzitzit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhmah uvaravo nekavim nekavim chalulim chalulim galui v'yadua lifnei chisei Chevodecha she'im yisatem echad mehem o im yipateach echad mehem אי אפשר להתקיים אפילו שעה אחת ברוך אתה אדוני רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על דברי תורה. הריני מקבל עלי מצוות עשה של ואהבת לרעך כמוך. I take upon myself every single day to love my fellow friend in a very special way.
Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe, Morasha kehilas Yaakov, Morasha kehilas Yaakov, Morasha kehilas Yaakov, Torah, tziva lanu Moshe.
I put it in the pushki that's a darker box. I put it in the pushki that's a darker box. I put it in the pushki for someone else to keep. Yeah, I put it in the pushki that's a darker box. I put it in the pushki that's a darker box. I put it in the pushki for someone else in need.
All right. Thank you for giving tzedakah. And that takes us to the saying of the Shema. Place your right hand over your eyes.
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך
Okay, this serves as your yearly
ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
49 days to count the Omer. After it's dark, Mark, at the end of my reef, Steve, do it in shul, shmuel, just count with me. Look for the stars, Tamar, just be sure to make the bracha. Erev is the key, Tzvi, count spirit with me.
All right, fantastic. Counting today's 29 days of the Omer. You know what that means? That means that we're coming up on Lag BaOmer. We're going to talk about that too. Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day of the Omer. It's a very, very important day, and we're going to discuss why coming up. In the meantime, let's make a bracha for the 29th day of
HaYom, HaYom, HaYom tisho v'esrim yom arbo shavuos v'yom echad l'Omer.
Sparkem lochem mi mochar as Shabbos mi mochar as Shabbos mi yoim aviachem Sparkem lochem mi mochar as Shabbos mi yoim aviachem es Omer atnuvo
Shakal niye bidvoroi shakal niye bidvoroi.
All right, and that takes us to our breakfast. Are you ready? Coffee and yogurt here. As a matter of fact, coffee yogurt. All right, making a bracha shahakol. Borachatu Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shahakol nihiya bidvaroi.
Coffee, blessed coffee. God bless you for being a friend. When the whole world turns on me, it's only you on which I can depend. I want to taste you in the morning and a few times throughout the day. Yes, a cup or two in the evening too. For me, it's the only way. Yeah.
All right. And that takes us to today in Jewish history. Oh my goodness, so much to talk about today. We're going to start with a few other things, and then we'll work our way up to Pesach Sheini. But don't fret. You're going to learn all about it today. All right? Today is another amazing day. Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes passed away on this day. A scholar in the 2nd century. He was a scribe, among the foremost disciples of Rabbi Akiva. Yes, the famous Rabbi Akiva. His colleagues called him Meir because he enlightened the eyes of the sages with his genius and scholarship. Rabbi Meir's long life was rife with personal tragedy. Aside from his personal travails, he lived in the troubled times following the destruction of the Second Holy Temple. After his beloved teacher, Rabbi Akiva, was executed by the Romans, you know the story, he fled to Babylon, and the persecutions eased up. His wisdom and his teachings were so often quoted in the Mishnah and Talmud that every anonymous teaching in the Mishnah is attributed to Reb Meir. Can you imagine? Wow. His wife, Beruria, was also famous for her Torah knowledge, for her piety, and for her wisdom. he is buried in the holy city of Tiberias. There are miracles about Rebbe Meir, and we're going to play a song about it in a minute. He is called Bal Hanes. There are many, many miracles that happened to him, and it is written that the prayer of his Elokad Meir Aneni, the God of Meir, please answer me, has strength to bring on change and miracles. Speaking of change, there is a widespread, well-known custom that if you lose something and you cannot find it, you put coins in a charity box and say, this is in honor of Rabbi Meir Bal Hanes, and you ask Hashem to help you find the item. Try it. Yeah, just try it. The Jews of Byzance, Austria, were massacred on this day, the 14th day of Iyar, in 1605. And in 1933, the Germans burned Jewish books. They burned thousands of books written by Jews and others deemed un-German. Yeah, crazy stuff, huh? On this day in 1943, Berlin was declared Judenrein, free of Jews. The city of Ramat Rachel was repossessed by Israel. The battle for Jewish control of the Jordan Valley was successfully concluded on this day in 1948. Agents of Israel's Mossad, May 11th, 1960, captured Nazi leader Adolf Eichmann, chief architect of Hitler's iniquitous, I don't know that word, final solution in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Eichmann was in charge of transportation required for the shipment of Jews to the extermination camps and implementing the final solution. In other words, the extermination of the Jews. The height of his career was reached in Hungary in 1944 when he managed to transport 400,000 Jews to the gas chambers in less than 5 weeks. After the war, Eichmann fled to Argentina and lived under the assumed name of Ricardo Clement for 10 years until the Mossad, the Israeli Secret Service agents, abducted him on May 11, 1960, and smuggled him out of the country to stand trial in Jerusalem for crimes against the Jewish people, crimes against humanity, and war crimes. Eichmann was captured through the efforts of Nazi hunter Simon Wiesenthal and the Israeli Mossad. He was put on trial in Israel, which was broadcast nationwide, and featured the wrenching testimony of over 100 witnesses, many of them Holocaust survivors. During the 4 months of the trial, Eichmann took the stand and used the defense that he was just obeying orders. Why me, he asked. Why not the local policemen, thousands of them? They would have been shot if they had refused to round up the Jews for the death camps. Everybody killed the Jews. There's your defense. Everyone was doing it. Like a 5-year-old child, right? Eichmann was found guilty on all counts of crimes against humanity, convicted and sentenced to death by hanging. He was hanged at Ramlet prison on the 27th day of Iyar, May 31st, 1962, the only capital punishment ever carried out in Israel. His body was cremated and his ashes scattered at sea so that no nation would serve as Eichmann's final resting place. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right. Would you be upset if we put off Pesach Sheini for just a few minutes? I'm going to get to it, but I just want to do a couple other things first. First of all, here's the song I promised you. Now, this does have music, so if you are not listening to music, turn off your volume for this song. I cobbled together two versions of this song so that you'd be able to see the words on the screen as well. Here are the Marcus Brothers, Eighth Day, with Elokad Meir Aneni.
Darkest times on a pitch black night, he rode a horse of the purest white. He knocked on the door, got a prisoner free. In his hand a bag of money. What shall I do when the money runs dry? Here's a prayer that could pierce the sky. What shall I do when the gold runs dry? Here's a prayer that could pierce the sky. Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, 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 Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Aneni, Aneni. When wild dogs they surrounded me, these three words they set me free. When you got no strength and you crying please, lost in the forest can't find the trees. Here's what you do when the money runs dry. Here's a prayer that could pierce the sky. Here's what you do when the gold runs dry. Here's a prayer that could pierce the sky. Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, 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 Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, 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 Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, 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 Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Aneni, Aneni. Rabbi Meir Balanes, Rabbi Meir Balanes, Rabbi Meir Balanes, Elokad Rabbi Meir Balanes Aneni. So here's what you do when the money runs dry. There's a prayer that could pierce the sky. Here's what you do when the gold runs dry. Sing the song, give it a try. Speak it, sing it, shout it thrice. These three words can pierce the sky. Speak it, sing it, shout it thrice. These three words can pierce the sky. Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, 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 Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, 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 Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, 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 Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Aneni, Aneni. Rabbi Meir Balanes, Rabbi Meir Balanes, Rabbi Meir Balanes, Elokad Rabbi Meir Balanes Aneni, Elokad Rabbi Meir Balanes Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni. Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, 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 Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Aneni, Aneni.
All right. Good stuff, huh? Eighth Day, the Marcus Brothers, Elokad Meir Aneni. And you might ask me, what is the say it thrice? Well, there are people that do it three times. They put the tzedakah in and say Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, Elokad Meir Aneni, and put the money in tzedakah. All right? All right. HaYom Yom for the day.
HaYom Yom, thoughts for the day, 14th of Iyar. What do we mean that it's never too late? I mean, there isn't a Pesach Shlishi. What if one missed both Pesachs? Pesach Sheini came as a result of the insistence of Jews who were exempt, who could have taken the year off and not brought the Pesach sacrifice, yet they demanded to participate. Our ancestors cried out and left Egypt earlier than anticipated. Cry out, stomp your feet, speak with a supervisor, and don't take no for an answer. Hey, it might get you kicked out of Target, but it will extract the holiness of your neshama.
There are people who never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. You know, the type of person that could be right in the middle of all the action, but is somehow zoned out and completely just unaware. Well, that zoned out person could be you. Today is Pesach Sheini, which is an important holiday. Back in the day, an important dish on the Pesach Seder menu was the lamb, the Pesach sacrifice. But in order to partake of the lamb, certain requirements had to be in place. Firstly, there was no ordering out. If you weren't in Jerusalem on Pesach, there was no eating the Pesach sacrifice outside of Jerusalem. That's number one. Secondly, even if you were in Jerusalem but were spiritually impure at the time, also you were excluded from partaking in the lamb, in the Pesach sacrifice. Now the Torah records the story of how a group of people who were excluded came to Moshe and protested. Stand by, says Moshe Rabbeinu. I'm going to bring your arguments to Hashem. This became the impetus for a new holiday. The holiday that we mark today, Pesach Sheini, the second Pesach, is an opportunity for anybody who was unable to offer the Pesach sacrifice, partake in the Pesach sacrifice on the first Pesach, has an opportunity to do so on this day. So, the message of the day is, whether you missed an important opportunity because you were in the wrong place physically, or if you missed an opportunity because you were in the wrong place mentally, or emotionally, or spiritually, there is always a second chance.
Always a second chance. All right, now let's go back and talk about Pesach Sheini just a little bit.
Hey, I've got matzah on my mind. I've got matzah on my mind. Matzah on my mind, and it sure feels fine. Matzah on my mind. Matzah on my mind most of the time. I'm a roaring corpus and a lamb shank bone. Love that Seder plate at Bubby's home. When I find out Afikomen, I'm gonna be yelling. Some matzo ball soup and I'm gonna be kvel.
All right, we got a couple of videos for you today. I know you like those, so here's one. All right. That was kind of silent. I thought there was sound to that, but I guess not. A little bit of explanation.
Ja, Heinz is a big luncheon, and we have the guests from the Kingsbrook Hospital, all the leaders. And this is Mr. Mink and David Mink and the president of the hospital. And Mr. Rosenberg will introduce you.
Das ist die ganzen hier. Grund und Slochelab in Iyar.
Mr. David Minkin, president of the Kingsbrook Jewish Medical Center.
God Almighty bless you to provide root to the food for all your clients. And truly safe,
Yes, Aliyah from the SDO as a banquet from the SDO on.
Gute,
yes.
Gute das hier. Das war ein gut Nephew. Ein PESACH Sheini. Steht auf PESACH Sheini, hat das Leben zu uns, das mit solchen verfallen. PESACH Sheini, wenn die es haben gekonnt machen, PESACH Rishon. Und sie gemerkt und das verfallen, haben sie gesagt, dass sie da nicht. Jetzt haben wir die Sachen, was sie gedacht haben, aber nicht so, es ist schon jene Sachen nicht. Dann in einer guten Leben, das verreicht, und das hat dritte Dollar für das Loch in alle gute Sachen.
Thank you very much.
Mr. and Mrs. Aaron and Devorah Fleischer, members of the Board of Trustees of Kingsbrook Jewish Medical Center.
For all you good, and God Almighty bless you.
Would you bless my family?
Yes, that is it for your family.
Thank you.
That's for your organization, and that's for yourself.
Thank you.
As a private person.
Thank you.
You have some things to do as a private person also.
Thank you.
This is
For your cooperation to do Hawaii.
This is Mrs. Rachel Weiss, assistant to the president, Mr. Minkin.
Das war die ganze Irgun, und das war für die Kinder.
This is Mrs. Pearl Berman.
Die ganze Irgun.
This is Mrs. Ruth Folstein from the prenatal clinic at HaYom on Empire Boulevard.
Das ist for the clinic and good news. It would be a good idea to put a rocket pushcase in the clinic.
We will.
God Almighty bless you.
This is Mordechai and Chaya Leah.
Today is Pesach Sheini, exactly 1 month after Passover. And basically what happened was there was people during the first Passover who were ritually impure and they were unable to bring the Passover sacrifice, the Pesach Korban. And they complained to Moses. They said, it's not fair. We were doing a mitzvah. We were carrying the bones of Joseph, who passed away before in Egypt and wished to be buried in Israel. They said we were doing a mitzvah, a good deed, and why can't we bring up sacrifice to God? And Moses said, you are right. And he asked God, and God said, they are correct. They should bring a korban. They can bring a sacrifice. And this is a lesson to us that it is never too late. It is never too late to bring ourselves closer to God. God bless you all. May we see this out.
Happy Passover, the second Passover. Let me explain. Hi, my name is Rabbi Raps, and I teach you what you should have learned in Hebrew school. So when the Jewish people went out of Egypt and they celebrated the holiday of Passover, there were some Jewish people that were not able to participate because they were ritually impure. And they came to Moses with a complaint. They said, we can't do Passover. What do we, chop liver? We missed the boat just because we're ritually impure. We want to do Passover too. And Moshe brought their complaint to God, and God said, give them a second chance. 30 days after the first Passover, there's something called Pesach Sheini, the second Passover, and that's actually tonight and tomorrow. We remember the time that God gave the Jewish people a second chance. Pesach Sheini is a reminder that it's never too late, that God gives second chances. We should never give up on what we want to accomplish in our lives. Happy Pesach Sheini.
All right, and we can leave it there. We do not say Tachnun today, the confession of sins and similar prayers. And it is customary to eat matzah today, all right? not a lot. You don't have to eat a lot of matzah. One piece is enough, or a half a piece, or whatever you want. Enough to be able to make a bracha. All right, so that's important. You have to eat at least what they call a kazayas of matzah. All right. So I'm going to have some with lunch. What about you? A word from our sponsors.
And now, a word from our sponsors. PestProRidall.com.
PestProRidall.com. Trusted by the best to keep away the pests. We are offering COVID-19 disinfection services. Mention this ad and get 1 month free service. Visit us at PestProRidall.com.
Tarzane Group. Micro, miniature, and small orchids. Go to tarzanegroup.com or call Tomas at 305-440-0565. That's 305-440-0565. And order today. Visit Tomas and Yair at tarzanegroup.com. Micro, miniature, and small orchids. Beautiful in your home. Go to the website and read Tomas's orchid blog. And by Dina D Design. DinaDDesign at gmail.com. Fine artwork, custom made to your specifications, logos, wall hangings, Judaica, and you can even have something for your child's room. Dina D Designs. Go to her Facebook or Instagram or call or text. Thank you very much to our sponsors. If you'd like to become a sponsor, please go right up here to where it says patreon.com/theactorsrabbi, and you can contribute even only $1 a month if you'd like, but that'll help us bring this broadcast to you on a daily basis and cover our expenses. Be sure to thank your sponsors when shopping and mention Breakfast with Elli when you're shopping there. There might be discounts. Thanks for watching.
Helping lots of people any way we can. Tzedakah is the Jewish way to help your fellow man.
All right. If you'd like to help out by giving some tzedakah and by promoting Torah learning all around the globe, please click on this handy QR code right here, which will take you to breakfastwithelli.live/support. Breakfastwithelli.live/support, and you can help bring Torah all around the world by contributing today. You can also go to patreon.com/theactorsrabbi and donate there as well. You can become a sponsor there. All right, just before we move on, I forgot to tell you that we have crossed the threshold. Light has filled the sunny skies and the promise of better days ahead. The National Weather Service confirmed the sun will no longer set in New York City before 8 p.m. until the 11th day of August. That is right. We are in for some summer months over here. That has to do with the axis, the way the Earth turns. It's kind of an intoxicating amount of sunlight, said Nazca Gordillo, 26, who used to live in San Diego, which has longer days than New York. If you're entitled to good weather year-round, you forget how to value it. The sunsets will run even later as the city moves into summer, a phenomenon caused by the tilt of the Earth's axis. When the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, arrives on June 21st, the sun won't set in New York until 8:31 p.m., according to the Naval Astronomical Records. As of Sunday, records show the city had 14 hours and 18 minutes of daylight per day, and that figure is slated to exceed 15 hours by the time the solstice arrives. So there's not a cloud in the sky, and it should be like that always, remarked teacher Lily McIntyre as she basked in the glory of the sun on Brooklyn in Brooklyn. It's Mother's Day, and the mother of everyone is Mother Nature. We appreciate her today with all the other moms. Now, don't get carried away. The sun's ultraviolet rays can be deceptively dangerous this time of year. Some people aren't aware that you can get sunburnt pretty easy, even when it's only 70 degrees. And that's because we are getting what we call more of a July type of sun right now in terms of how direct the sun rays are and how strong they are. People's bodies are not acclimated to direct sunlight coming out of the winter's months, making you more likely to burn. So, if you don't have sunblock, you could burn very easily at this time of year because you're getting a high sun angle, Mr. Engel said. Who is Mr. Engel? Meteorologist Jay Engel with the National Weather Service. Meteorology and the warmer weather lags it a bit, so please. Don't know what that was. Please be careful out there and don't get sunburned, but enjoy the sunlight. It's a good thing, right?
Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe.
All right, beginning the Parsha for this week, we are doing the Parsha overview for Parshas Emor, right out of our Kahot Chumash, which you can get in the notes, is a link to get the Kahot Chumash for free. Parshas Emor comprises two major topics. First, the sanctity required of the Kohanim and the Karbanos, the priests and the sacrifices, the offerings. And the second is the calendar of the festivals, followed by three minor topics: the lighting of the menorah, the weekly replacement of the lechem apanim, the showbread, and the incident of the blasphemer. The first collection of halachas, laws, concerns only the Kohanim, and indeed is addressed to them specifically, while the second is central to the life of the entire nation of Israel. As we know, the fact that both of these topics are contained within the same parsha indicates that despite their apparent unrelatedness, they do have a common denominator, and this common denominator is expressed by the name of the parsha. Emor, it means to say. As we know, the usual formula Hashem uses when communicating his commands in the Torah is daber, to speak to the Israelites and say to them, daber el bnei Yisrael lemor, speak to the Israelites and say to them, prefacing the command to say with the command to speak. In Hebrew, the words for saying and speaking are different nuances. Speaking is hard speech, a straightforward, objective expression of the message to be conveyed, emphasizing the accuracy and precision of the content, and no more. In contrast, Emor, saying, is soft speech, a subjective tailoring of the message reflecting the full consciousness of its intended recipient in order to facilitate effective communication. Now, according to tradition, the unusual double expression with which the Parsha opens, say to the priests of the sons of Aaron and say to them, means that Moshe is not only to deliver Hashem's message to the Kohanim, he's to enjoin the elder Kohanim to instruct the younger Kohanim. As we'll see, this is the Torah's first injunction regarding education. Although this injunction is addressed to the Kohanim, we are called upon to be a nation of Kohanim, the Goy Kodesh, and a holy nation. And thus, Hashem's imperative that the elders educate the youth applies to all of us. Whenever we see in someone else a behavior or an attitude that's in need of edification or correction, we ipso facto immediately cast by divine providence ourselves in the role of educator. In this sense, we may play the part of a teacher not only when educating our students, but in dealing with our colleagues, our children, and ourselves as well. We'll stop there for today. I've lost the Aliyah summary. There it is. In the second Aliyah, the section discusses both the blemishes and ritual impurities which disqualify a Kohen from performing the priestly duties in the temple. The Aliyah then lays down the rules regarding who in the household of a Kohen may eat the truma offering, the tithe from produce that is given to the Kohanim. All right. And now, Chumash and Rashi with Rabbi.
Jewish audio on Chabad.org.
And Hashem spoke to Moshe and he said, "Speak to Aaron and say the following. Any man amongst your descendants throughout the generations who has a bodily defect, as will be presently described, may not approach the altar to bring sacrifices. It is fitting that the priests who serve me in the tabernacle should externally reflect the inner completeness that is the goal of the tabernacle service. There is a role for these Kohanim who had the defects, but in the place of the temple it was a place of perfection, which had to manifest itself externally as well. A blind man, lame, whose nose is sunken between the eyes, a man with mismatched limbs, broken leg or arm, eyebrows are so long that they extend over the eyes, cataract, commingling of the normally separate colors in his eye, for example, an extension of the white of the eye into the iris, a man with dry boils, a man with oozing boils, or a man with crushed testicles. If they have these defects, they may not approach the altar. If the defect disappears, they may. Even though a blemished priest may not offer up sacrifices, he may nonetheless eat the priest's portions of Hashem's food, both from the sacrifices of superior holiness and of lesser holiness. But he may not officiate as a Kohen. He may not even enter the sanctuary and approach the curtain in front of the Holy Holies to sprinkle sacrificial blood or the inner altar. Hashem told Moshe to instruct only the priests to train their children in the observance of these laws rather than to instruct the court to shoulder the responsibilities as well, because he knew that the Kohanim would hereditarily be sufficiently zariz, focused and excited to train their children properly. In other words, he trusted the Kohanim. Thus, it would not be necessary to enjoin the court to enforce these restrictions. But Moshe could not know about the Kohen's hereditary assiduousness, so he therefore told not only Aaron and his sons to train their children, but also all the Israelites. In other words, when Hashem told it to him, Hashem had in mind only the Kohanim because he was aware of their nature, but Moshe wasn't. Hashem spoke to Moshe and he said, "Speak to Aaron and his sons and tell them that when they are ritually defiled, they must abstain from eating the holy sacrifice of the Israelites and the sacrifices that they themselves sanctify to me, so that they don't desecrate my holy name. I am God. Say to them, throughout all the generations, any man from amongst your descendants who, while in a state of impurity, approaches, meaning eats any of the holy sacrifices, will be cut off from the people. They may not eat truma, which is the donation they get from the Jewish people. Any man amongst Aaron's descendants who is afflicted with sarat, or had a non-seminal discharge, as we spoke about in the past, must not eat of the holy food until he purifies himself. Same if they had any contact with a dead person or a seminal emission. A man who touches the carcass of any of the 8 types of crawling creature that impart ritual defilement, as discussed, may not eat from this food, and they will remain ritually defiled until evening, once they immerse in the mikveh and wait till the evening, and they have to wait till the sun sets. The Kohanim must safeguard my charge not to eat truma while ritually defiled. Only thus will they not bear responsibility for the sin, punishable by death on the account of having desecrated it. So as you see, the Kohen doesn't only have rights, they have tremendous obligations. No non-Kohen may eat the holy food of truma. If a Kohen has a Yisrael or a Levite Hebrew bondsman, who is a resident of the home, they may not eat the truma. But the non-Jewish bondsman may eat the truma. The Kohen's wife and children may eat the truma. However, if a Kohen marries a layman, even a Levite, she may no longer eat. If a Kohen's daughter marries a non-Kohen, she may no longer eat at her father's holy truma. But if a Kohen's daughter becomes widowed or divorced from her regular husband and she has no living descendants through him, she may return to her father's household as in her youth and eat her father's truma. If a non-Kohen unintentionally eats a holy food, he must take that same amount of non-holy food, add a fifth of that same kind of food to it, and give it to the Kohen to whom it belongs. And that becomes truma. The Kohen must not desecrate the holy truma and treat it with incredible dignity so that they can carry the weight of their responsibility and not carry sin on their shoulders.
Parsha Points with Rabbi Epstein is next up.
Parsha Points for Emor on Monday. Is other people's business my business? Is what an adult does that doesn't hurt anyone else any of my concern? You're darn tootin' it is. If I see someone about to harm himself, I don't say, well, who am I to say anything? He's an adult, it's his life. It's not his life. It's Hashem's life. And Hashem has some very specific requirements from all of his creations. And if I see someone violating God's purpose, that means that person is heading for misery. And I yank him back onto the curb, gently, and help him find his way. That is true kindness. Moshe tells all of the Jewish people about the Kohen rules, so they can act as bumpers to keep the Kohen on task.
Shalom Uvracha, Parashat Emor, second Aliyah. In the beginning of this Aliyah, the Torah describes the blemishes, the mumim, that cause a Kohen to be invalid for service in the Bet HaMikdash. The Torah has a whole list. What's interesting is that although the Torah makes it seem that when a Kohen is a Ba'al Mum, blemished, he can't do any of the service in Bet HaMikdash, that's not entirely true. If you look in the Mishnah, in the second Perek of Masechet Midot, the Rambam brings it down to halacha in Perek He of Hilchot Bet HaBechira. Even blemished Kohanim who could not perform the service in Bet HaMikdash were given a special job. They were given the job of going through the wood for the ma'aracha, atzah ma'aracha, to go through them to make sure that they weren't wormy or infested, to make sure they were adequately dry, and they would go through it piece by piece and chop it up to make sure that it was kasher for the mizbeach. The Torah means to tell us a very important lesson here. Even when there are certain limitations when a person can do in how he serves the tzibur, there are halachot. Certain times a person can't participate because of whatever the circumstances are. But every Jew, no matter what, has a seat at the table. There is always something to be done. You can always contribute to Am Yisrael in your own special way. Even when the Torah says that they are invalid, Chazal found something that the Kohanim could do in the Bet HaMikdash in spite of those limitations. So that's a tremendous lesson for all of us. Never get down about what you can't do. Ask not what you can't do for your nation. Find out what it is that you can contribute. And that's the lesson for us all.
There are many instances where we would ask for a repeat, or especially in business, they would love a repeat order. Or if it's a good dish and we're still hungry, we would ask for seconds. But what's with Pesach? Pesach Sheini, second Pesach. Mizmor l'soida rila adonai kol orativ des adonai b'simchu boi lefana birnana de'uka adonai Elohim. Hu asana v'lo anach la'ama b'tzal marisa boi yishar b'soida chatzroisa b'sila. Hoido lebachu shmoi ki toiv adonai le'lam chazdoi v'yad doi v'doi emunah soi. And let us give some tzedakah. Tehillim, chapter 100, thanking Hashem for the miracles and praying for further and imminent final miracle, redemption with Mashiach. And then we'll have the actual ultimate Pesach. Mizmor l'soida rila adonai kol orativ des adonai b'simchu boi lefana birnana de'uka adonai Elohim. Hu asana v'lo anach la'ama b'tzal marisa boi yishar b'soida chatzroisa b'sila. Hoido lebachu shmoi ki toiv adonai le'olam chazdoi v'yad doi v'doi emunah soi. And let us give some tzedakah. So what is Pesach Sheini? Translated, the second Pesach. Torah says that on the 14th day of the month of Nisan is Pesach. And we must then bring an offering, the Paschal lamb, that we have to eat as a group together with the whole Seder procedure. Let's not go in all the details. But there is a proviso. To be able to participate in this offering, one has to be tohir, which means spiritually fit. If someone has come in contact with death, with a dead body, the person is considered tomei and then cannot enter the temple and cannot eat of the Korban Pesach. So what happened is as following. After we came out of Egypt, in the desert, God has instructed the Jewish people to bring the Korban Pesach, to celebrate Passover. A group of people presented themselves and said, but we were tummy. We couldn't participate. Now, there's different opinions as to who they were. Some say that these were the ones who would carry the coffin of Yosef HaTzadik. We remember that Yosef had asked not to leave him in Egypt, and Moshe Rabbeinu was able to bring up his coffin from the Nilus, and there were those who were dedicated in carrying it. So they were Tamei. So they came to say, Lama Nigara, why should we be left out? Why should we not have the opportunity to participate in the Pesach experience? Moshe Rabbeinu said, let me send an email. Ask God. And God came back, request granted. A month after Pesach, they will have a second chance. All those who could not participate can now do the Korban Pesach. And for that matter, even somebody who intentionally did not participate, for whatever reason, can also participate. So the previous Rebbe made that statement that Pesach Sheini represents in Yiddish, Nishtok kein Verfallen. There is no last case. There is no situation that one can say, I missed the boat and that's it, I cannot fix it. One can always find a way how to repair what the shortcomings. But the question is as following. We don't find this by any other Yom Tov. Nobody asked, if I missed Yom Kippur, can I do another Yom Kippur? I can understand Purim, yes, I would like to celebrate. But we don't find this in any other Yom Tov, in any other thing that we see. If I didn't do it today, I can sit in the sukkah in the middle of the winter? No. Why specifically when it came to this Korban, when it came to Pesach, they came to say Lo Manigova? The answer is as following. Pesach represents freedom. Pesach represents not just physical freedom, Pesach represents spiritual freedom, inner freedom. So the people came and said, the fact that we missed it the first time, are we doomed forever to be inner slaves? Can we ever come out of our own boundaries? Can we ever merit redemption? Says Hashem, since you're asking for it, is a sign that you really want it. If you really want it, I'll grant it to you. And therefore with Pesach Sheini. What a beautiful lesson for us. We all want Mashiach, so let's really want it. Let's really ask for it. Rabbeinu Shalom, we want Mashiach now. Please, send us the Rebbe Melech HaMashiach to take us out of exile right now.
You got me. I'm in. You don't have to tell me twice. All right. That takes us to Tehillim today.
Al Yedei Amidas Tehillim, the Al Yedei Amidas Tehillim, the Al Yedei Amidas Tehillim, Tisoyre Chavateles HaShoroin.
All right, we are doing chapters 23 and 124. Join me.
מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי, לא אחסר, בינוס תשע, ירביצני, על מי מנוחוס ינהלני, נפשי שובב, ינחני ומעגלי צדק, למען שמו, גם כי לך בגיא צלמובס, לא ירא, כי אתה עמדי, שבטך ומשענתך, המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפניי שולחן נגד צורריי. תשענת בשמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה, אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני. כל ימי חיי ושבתי בביס אדוני לאורך ימים.
We're doing Tanya, and I know that you are following along, so let us do Tanya for the 14th of Iyar.
Tanya thoughts for the 14th of Iyar. Every parent has fought the urge to just let me do it, and then we can move on. They know that it's their child's homework, it's their child's arts and craft, and if the parent can restrain himself from jumping in and fixing it, the child will genuinely learn. Now, that's a challenge for one person, an adult, to not jump in and rescue a child. Imagine Hashem, who's infinite, and how much he has to restrain himself to create a world for finite people where we can actually be contributory. Now, all of that work just for us. Think about all Hashem does for us, and then we can think about what we can do for him.
Thank you for joining Tanya in 5. Today's lesson for the 14th of Iyar, we actually begin chapter 48. Chapter 48 in one word is Ligdulosei, God's greatness. When we contemplate his greatness of the Ein Sof, so an intelligent person will realize that just as his name indicates, so is he, that he is without limit, not with no finitude of his light and vitality that diffuse from him. Similarly, his simple will is also united with his very essence and is in a perfect unity with God's will, that is, with the essence of God. Now, if the world were to descend from the light of the Ein Sof, then without contractions, but according to a gradual descent from grade to grade by means of cause and effect, then this world would not be as we have it now. It would not be able to be created in the present form of a finite, limited world, because it would be created from that which is the nature of God is infinite, and as much as you would have a cause and effect, whatever the cause is within the effect, and therefore it would still be an infinite world. We would not have a finite, limited world as we have here. even when it would come to the spiritual worlds, not just the physical world, but Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden, the higher level of Garden Eden, which is the habitation of the great tzaddikim, of great souls. They would not be able to have such a world because, again, that world is still a limitation in the fact that the great souls do comprehend the infinite light of God, but only in apprehension of a ray of light of the divine. Hence, that's what they're able to enjoy. If the Gan Eden, a spiritual world, were to be created directly from the infinite light of God without contraction, it would not be able to exist as it does. All of this is what we're learning right now to understand God's greatness. God's greatness is that He ultimately contracts upon Himself in order that there should be a finite world. And why does He contract upon Himself? In order to give us a space, as it were, as we will learn further. This chapter is a continuation of the previous chapters, speaking about a reciprocal love that God has done for us, and therefore we reciprocate and do for him. He has taken us out of our own self-imprisonment within the body, within this world, and He's given us Torah mitzvahs that we could unite and become one with Him. Now it goes further, this idea that in the very act of creation, God in His greatness, as is His name, Ein Sof, is limitless. He needs to contract on His, so to speak, natural character, shall we say? Not that you can use that term, character, for God, but He contracts upon it in order that there should be finite existence, and in that finite existence allows us that we could seek Him and have a relationship with Him. We will have much more about this idea in forthcoming classes. And that is Tanya in 5. Thank you for joining.
No, it's not impossible that Rebbe did say, just study Rambam each and every day. I'll never miss my daily Rambam. My Rebbe so desires, I'm not busy or too tired. When I learn Rambam connected, I remain, I am a link in the Rebbe's golden chain.
All right, here we go.
Baruch Hashem, today is day number 73 in our daily study of Rambam Sefer Mitzvahs. This corresponds to the 3 chapters a day of Mishnah Torah, chapters 11, 12, and 13 of Hilchos Ishus, the laws of holy matrimony, marriage, kiddushin, which means holiness. Our mitzvah today is the same mitzvah that we had yesterday, so I'll repeat it again. Negative commandment 355, the prohibition against engaging in intimate relations. Baruch Hashem, today is day number 74 of our daily study of Rambam Sefer Mitzvahs. In the 3 chapters a day of Mishnah Torah, we are still in Hilchos Ishus, the laws of marriage, chapters 14, 15, and 16. And we have a new mitzvah today, a marriage-related mitzvah. All of our mitzvahs are marriage-related because that's the subject that we're studying in the 3 chapters a day of Mishnah Torah. And the mitzvah is negative commandment 262. Negative commandment 262. What is that? It is a prohibition against a husband. Lo yigra is the scriptural expression, not to diminish. 3 things. Sher, ksus, ve'oina. These are the obligations of a husband to a wife. That is, Baruch Hashem, today is day number 73 in our daily study of Rambam Sefer Mitzvahs. This corresponds to the 3 chapters a day of Mishnah Torah, chapters 11, 12, and 13 of Hilchos Ishus, the laws of holy matrimony, marriage, kiddushin, which means holiness. Our mitzvah today is the same mitzvah that we had yesterday, so I'll repeat it again. Negative commandment 355, the prohibition against engaging in intimate relations outside of marriage. I'll offer you an insight that is found in the Rambam Sefer Mitzvahs. Yesterday I mentioned, and I'm not going to repeat exactly what I said yesterday, but I mentioned that the Rambam explains that a person might erroneously conclude that since the penalty for engaging in a non-consensual act is a monetary fine,
So that must mean that if you want to make it consensual and just pay for it in advance, then that's fine. And so the Torah says very clearly, no, there shall not be a prostitute. There shall not be a commercialization of this act. And that is the scriptural source for the prohibition against intimate relations outside of marriage. There is a sister verse, so to speak, for the verse that we mentioned yesterday. Yesterday we learned that the verse Dvarim Chav Gimel Yud Ches, which is Deuteronomy 23:18. But there's a similar verse in Vayikra, in the book of Leviticus, Yud Tes Chav Tes, chapter 19, verse 29. Al tichalel es bitcha laznesa. It's a commandment to a father not to prostitute his daughter. Umala ha'aretz zima. The verse finishes, and if he'll do so, lest the outcome be that the land become full of lewdness, become full of promiscuity. So the Rambam seizes upon those words. Why does it say, and the world will become full of promiscuity? So he says like this, and if you remember, we spoke about this yesterday, that there on the books, so to speak, is already outlawed certain types of non-consensual acts, either the most overt form of a non-consensual act, what we would describe as assault, or what we, in our clumsy translation, might call a seduction, where someone who was unwilling was convinced, so to speak, to be willing, but Torah forbids it and levies a fine against it. So that's one prohibition. But we need this extra prohibition to prohibit consensual intimate relations outside of marriage for a different reason. And when I say consensual, I mean either when it is done commercially or it's done just by two parties who decide to do so for free. Why is this separate prohibition required? And why is it specifically described in its scriptural origins as something that's done to prevent umala ha'aretz zima, the land, from becoming full of promiscuity? He makes a distinction between these two types of prohibitions. The non-consensual acts, although they do occur, unfortunately, they don't occur so often. This is what the Rambam says. They're not so common. However, consensual acts of lewdness is something that if we don't control it, if people aren't careful about it, it can get way out of hand and it can become widespread. It can take over society, and then the land becomes full of lewdness. So it's very interesting, this insight that the Rambam is giving, that the prohibition against assault, it's dealing with an aspect of human nature which unfortunately does exist and has to be addressed, but it's not something that threatens to take over society. It's not something that would just become normalized. But consensual acts of licentious behavior, that needs to be very carefully controlled, or it would just become the norm. So it's a very interesting insight there. And I'm not going to editorialize, but I'll invite you to contemplate what it might suggest about the society at large in which we live today. It's just a fascinating thought, but I'll leave it to you to discuss with your friends and your study partners, and that's all I'll say about that. But it's just it's food for thought. Okay, we'll continue studying tomorrow. We'll see you, God willing, then.
Over the past few days, we've learned the concepts of ksuba and kiddushin, and we've learned that negative mitzvah 355 is that a person may not enter into a marriage unless there is both ksuba and kiddushin in place. A very interesting law when it comes to marriage is that a father may marry off his daughter until she reaches the age of 12. And the same rules that apply to ksuba and kiddushin for a regular woman would apply when a father marries off his daughter, so that he cannot marry her off unless there is a kiddushin being done by the husband and also a ksuba being drawn up by him. Only whereas when it comes to a regular woman, she would be the one to accept the kiddushin money or the object of value. Here, the father would be the one to accept that money or the object of value on behalf of his daughter. And the same would go for the ksuba, where he would write it up as acting on behalf of his daughter as an agent, the one marrying her off.
All right. Brilliant. And that takes us to matters of Mashiach. Someday, if it decides to change scenes.
והוא גואלנו, והוא גואלנו, והוא גואלנו, משיח צדקנו, הרבי מלובביץ' מלך המשיח, הרבי מלובביץ'.
The first time that the Jewish people observed Pesach in the desert, there were some Jews who were tameh, impure, and so were unable to partake of the Pesach offering. These men complained to Moshe, "Why should we lose out?" Moshe asked Hashem what to do, and Hashem replied they should bring the korban, the offering, 30 days later at the same exact time. The holiday of Pesach Sheini originated from the demands of a few Jews who didn't want to be deprived of the mitzvah. Because of their sincere request, Hashem granted them a second chance. From this event, we learn that we must never be complacent in galus, in exile. We are being deprived of not one, but hundreds of mitzvahs. When we simply demand of Hashem, why should we be deprived? He will surely bring Mashiach, and we will be able to properly fulfill all the mitzvahs once more without haste. Here's Shmuel Tzvi. Come on.
We have another important message for my students.
Today's HaYom says that God is always above you and everything comes from Him, but we have the power to reveal Him.
Meaning that on the one hand, everything comes from Hashem. He controls all of reality, and He is always above us, watching us. But yet, at the same time, He gives us the ability to serve Him and reveal His light here on earth, that we can be servants of Him and messengers of Him to carry out His will. May Hashem bless you all, and may the Mashiach come today. So don't wait for someone else to bring Mashiach. You have the power to do it.
Mashiach's waiting at the door, so let us greet Him and come back home, finally home in the place where we belong. It's been so long that we've been gone.
Are you ready? Evil. We're talking about evil still. It doesn't descend from above. The transmission from above is pure, coherent. Evil is distortion and noise, an artifact of our reception. If we could only adjust our receptive devices, our attitude and our ability to receive, the signal would become clear. And that is the meaning of life. Adjusting our reception. Tracht gut, es wird sein gut. Think good and it'll be good. You want to talk to me more about that? Sure. Come to me on social media. Any of the Actors Rabbis groups at Blue Sky, Clubhouse, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Telegram, Twitter, WhatsApp, YouTube, or theactorsrabbi.com, where you can sign up to be on our mailing list and for life coaching services should you need them. All right? All right. Let us make an after bracha.
Baruch ato Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam boirei nefashos rabois v'chesronan al kol ma sheborasa lachayos bohem nefesh kol chai baruch chai ha'olamim.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you to all my sponsors. If you'd like to become a sponsor, go to breakfastwithelli.live/support, breakfastwithelli.live/support, or to become a monthly sponsor, go to patreon.com/theactorsrabbi. Scan this handy QR code for more information. Pesach Sheini, nothing is ever lost. Remember that. Nothing is ever lost. You always have another chance, especially in doing mitzvahs and tshuva and things like that. So, think good and it'll be good. You know that's true. All right. Today, Pesach Sheini, go out and do something good and something nice for someone. Ruvain Ben Miriam, we're still praying for your speedy recovery. Wendy's not here today, so I don't know what's going on with that. Kobe Brummer with a brand new vocal for you, Without You, Biladech, Without You. Yeah. Go out and do something nice, something good for someone today. In the words of Rabbi Isaac Hamler, have affection for a fellow. Hashem will have affection for you. Do a kindness for a fellow. Hashem will do a kindness for you. Draw a fellow close. Hashem will draw you close to him. Make it a great and glorious day. Eat some matzah today and be the reason someone smiles. I will see you, God willing, tomorrow. Pesach Sheini. Have a great, great, great day. And now we start the countdown to Lag BaOmer. I know. Yes. All right. Have a great and glorious day. Be the reason someone smiles, and we'll talk tomorrow, God willing. I'm hoping we will.
פתאום כל השבילים נראים לי אותו הדבר, והדרך ארוכה והיפה. אחרי כל המילים אמונה זה מה שנשאר, לחפש עמוק בלב את התרופה. אנא אלך, אנא אצעד, שמע את קולי, עומד פה נרעד וצועק שמע ישראל השם אחד. אין לנו מלך אלא אתה, בדור שכזה משימה לא פשוטה, אז בוא אליי תחזיק לי את היד. בלעדיך אני שום דבר, אני רוצה להיות קרוב אליך, אתה הסיבה שעכשיו אני שר. לפניך, בלעדיך אני שום דבר. אני רוצה להיות קרוב אליך, אתה זה הכל, אדון העולם, ואין עוד מלבדך. שוחה בין הגלים ולפעמים גם נשבר, אתה החוף שלי כנגד כל סופה. רצים, יורדים ועולים, ומה כבר נשאר עוד לומר? מרים עיניים, מקבל את התנופה. הכל יסתדר, יחזור למקום, הלב הבוער יתחיל שוב לפעום. גם בשעות הכי קשות לא יראה. יודע היטב, אני לא לבד, ממני אף פעם אתה לא נפרד, ושומע את קולי ביום אקרא. בלעדיך אני שום דבר, אני רוצה להיות קרוב אליך, אתה הסיבה שעכשיו אני שם ורוצה לעמוד לפניך. בלעדיך אני שום דבר, אני רוצה להיות קרוב אליך, אתה זה הכל, אדון העולם, ואין עוד מלבדך. זה מה שנשאר, אותו הדבר. בלעדיך אני שום דבר, רוצה להיות קרוב אליך, אתה הסיבה שעכשיו אני שם ורוצה לעמוד לפניך. בלעדיך אני שום דבר, אני רוצה להיות קרוב אליך, אתה זה הכל, אדון העולם, ואין עוד מלבדך.
Bring them home, bring them home. We've been praying for so long, so Abba, please bring them home. Bring them home, please bring them home. We've been praying for so long, so Abba, please bring them home. We're coming home, we're almost home.